know that that was one of Paul Solomon's goals that he never accomplished, getting me organized. But Karen's pretty coming close to it. But in that process, I have met the most beautiful, wonderful, healing presence who has become my sister, who I love so dearly. And I want you all to know her and love her just like I do. So here is Karin Jenness.
Okay. Hello to everyone here.
Aloha.
And aloha, yes. And hello to everyone there. To help get ourselves kind of back into this moment after a long break, I would like for us all just to take a moment or two and try to take some deep breaths. If you have someone next to you that you're comfortable looking in their eyes, it might be nice to try to look in somebody's eyes and look really deeply. Try to access the inner beauty, the soul, if you can do it. You may not be close enough. And those of you that are watching on Zoom, you may not have anyone there. And maybe I encourage you could think of a place that you love and it makes you very happy. Maybe it's a stream, a babbling brook, or being by the ocean, or leaning up against a tree in the forest. But let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths if we can. All right? I was just looking into a pair of the prettiest brown eyes I know, and I definitely felt a connection. I hope that maybe you did too. And that is something we're here to talk about today. This is about invisible connections and the power of unconditional love. When Sharon first asked me to speak, at first I thought, I'm not an expert in anything that I know of. And I don't have a list of long letters after my name, but I have a very hard time saying no to that lady, as she said, that new sister of mine. So I said, yeah, sure, okay. And we are here with a lot of illustrious, wonderful people that can share so much wisdom with us. Stephen Poplin will be talking later. He is an expert in astrology and hypnosis. And then we did hear Brian Barry, and that man is like he's lived 3 lives already. He's got degrees, he's taught at Yale, and he's worked so hard to help and save children all over the world. And then after me is Reverend Sally Perry. Oh my God, yes, I'm sandwiched between those two. Thank you, Universe, OMG. Okay, well, anyway, we can learn a lot from her as well. She is a spiritual healer who is very versed in Eastern Indian tradition as well as Native American tradition. But I thought, well, again, the theme, it's invisible connections, it's the power of unconditional love. And I thought, well, you know what, I do know something about that. Don't we all? We all really do. And after all, the purpose of speaking in a setting like this isn't necessarily to teach or be authority, but just to kind of share what we have experienced and what we've realized, in the hopes that maybe we can help or touch somebody, even if it's just one person. Isn't that worthwhile? And the answer to that is yes. And I know that it is because I can recall times when I have encountered total strangers who were able to just almost magically shift my mood, my day. I remember one time I went to Kroger, and this young man who had Down syndrome was bagging my groceries very happily and cheerfully. And when he finished, he just looked at me and he said, "Have a great day." And you know what? I knew he meant it. He meant that. And I came in there really rushed and just burdened with all these responsibilities that I had. And I knew I did not have time to take care of everything. It just was not going to happen. But, being exposed to Bobby, that was his name, it just completely lifted my mood. And he was doing a job that was very menial by society's standards, yet he did it with so much love. And it actually enabled me to leave that store with a smile on my face and a lightness that I did not have when I walked into that store. And that one brief encounter just changed my day. And I know we've all probably had experiences like that. There was another time I went through a drive-through, and this woman, I didn't even know her name, but didn't take the time to know her name. But I was very worried and upset and sad about a relationship that had just suddenly and inexplicably soured. It left me feeling so hurt and unappreciated and just unfairly judged. And I could not get it out of my mind. But this woman, again, was so cheerful and so full of love that it just spread to me like a contagion stronger than COVID. It shocked me. And I felt so moved by it that I actually spoke to her and her manager, and I said, you know what, I just need to let you know, she has completely brightened my day and changed my mood. She also pointed out to me what a beautiful day it was. I hadn't even noticed it because I was so bummed out about this thing going on in my life. And I decided that when I left there, I was going to commit myself to just let go of the things that I have no control over and go out and try to enjoy that beautiful day that she pointed out to me, and maybe even spread some sunshine while I was at it. So after remembering those events, I did feel a little better about talking today. And I now know I don't have to be an expert to talk about anything. And so here goes. We all want to be connected to source. Some of us say God or our highest, best selves, or, creator, whatever name you use and you're comfortable with, works fine. We read, we study, we aspire to be the most spiritually enlightened beings that we can be. Some of us are really good at it. Some of us do it all day long. Some of us do it every day of our life. But sometimes, inevitably, we do lose that connection. I think we all do. And it reminded me of something I saw somewhere. It was a woman, and she was sitting on a bed, and she was talking to God, and some of you might have even heard this before, but she was saying, you know what, I've done good so far today. I have not gossiped. I haven't lost my temper. I haven't been greedy or grumpy or nasty or self-indulgent. I haven't even complained or cussed or used your name in vain. But you know what, Lord? I'm about ready to get out of bed, and I think I'm going to need your help. And I've definitely had times like that. In some ways, our connection to God is a virtual connection. Sometimes we're sailing along, feeling really good about how we're doing with our relationships to God and to others and to self. And then we have a glitch. We have a disturbance that shuts us down, disconnects us. And I wondered, where do we go when we lose that connection? Now, it's not as easy as calling the Geek Squad like I usually have to do on a monthly basis with the guys at Best Buy. For some of us, we found that prayer and meditation and reading spiritually uplifting books and yoga and all of these things help restore that connection. Those are definitely fantastic tools. I've used them. I highly recommend them. But sometimes, depending on how great the disturbance, sometimes depending on how upset I am, I just cannot make that connection. And I think that when that happens, sometimes I think, well, maybe I just need more practice at it, or maybe I need more willpower. And then I think, wait a minute, maybe I need to not judge myself, because there are many paths, and there's nothing wrong with using some different ones. So I thought about what works for me. What does work for me pretty much every time and quickly? I mean, we all want quick fixes, right? I just want to click that button and reboot. And I don't even know if reboot's a real term anymore. People use with computers. I mean, I wrote this stuff on paper. Nobody does that anymore. But I wondered, when I get disconnected, what am I not seeing? What am I missing? If Source or God created all that is, the world, each of us, each of you, the beauty that surrounds us and the beauty that's within us, then maybe that's what I'm forgetting to see. Maybe. Paul Solomon, the founder of this beautiful fellowship, said, "You are not alone in occupying the body in which you live. There is a beautiful, creative, divine presence there with you. And we really need to try to remember that." Remember when you first fell in love with someone? Remember how all you saw was the beauty within them. All you saw were the good traits and the good qualities. You couldn't even see anything negative. You were blinded to the ugly. Fast forward 10 years, and unfortunately, maybe that's reversed for some people. Hope not. But to maintain that feeling of love and connection to source, maybe it is as simple as choosing to see the beauty in others, no matter how ugly they are behaving, because it is there. We know that God put it there. And let's face it, we can all have a little bit of big ugly in us sometimes. We sometimes find ourselves in trying situations with very difficult people that challenge us to maintain our connection to source. But those are the very times when we need to stay connected the most. So maybe just stop, look in their eyes like we did earlier, and try to really see them right to their soul. I mean, it is the windows of the soul anyway that we're looking at, right, when we look through the eyes. Maybe even trying to see the hurt child within them, the child that didn't get the love they needed. Paul was also quoted as saying, "If we cannot serve the expression of God in the eyes of the one with whom we share a room, a house, or an office, or a program, or just a conversation, then we will not know how or where to find him." And those are capital letters. And I think those words are so very true. In fact, I am an LPN. I used to work with a very, very strong-willed, opinionated, self-absorbed 90-year-old woman who had very significant short-term memory problems. If it hadn't been so damn annoying, it would have been kind of comical. I mean, we went through this dance every day. Well, why are you doing that? Well, I think you just told me to do that. And sometimes she was very difficult and unlikable and ugly. I had to bite my tongue a lot, and those that live with me know that's not always easy for me. So she did have beautiful blue eyes though. So I started trying to really look in her eyes, and it helped me stay connected to source and my best highest self, because I tried to see the hurt child in her eyes that never got enough love, and I knew that story of hers. I realized her need for love and understanding was greater than my need for respect from her and appreciation. I noticed when and if I could do that, and some days were harder than others, she actually, I think, seemed to feel that love energy coming from me and that acceptance coming from me. And rather than the anger and frustration that she was accustomed to, my shift in perception of her is what changed, not her. She didn't change. But over time, I noticed that her behavior did change some. And so I do believe some other words of Paul Solomon, and I'm quoting him a lot because I don't think any of us would be here today if it were not for Paul. I unfortunately did not actually get to know Paul, but I feel like I do know him through Anna, Leah, and Joshua's stories and Sharon's and other people that actually knew him. He said, "Each of us has some wonderful traits. I may meet anyone at their worst or at their best. In any case, I know the best way to relate is to have faith in the good in everyone. I am much more likely to experience the good in our relationship because of that." So you see, it all starts with us, doesn't it? With you, with me. We do have the power at any given moment to transform the ugliness of others by trying to see the divine beauty within them. I wonder if we can perhaps do that on a larger scale with this amazing country of ours, a country that other nations try to emulate and people risk their lives to come to. Maybe even the world. Maybe we can send it out there and somehow affect the world. When we feel disconnected, we can reconnect with the world by seeing the beauty in the world around us. The blue sky, loving pets, maybe the wind blowing through the pine trees. Just take the time to do that and to see it. But finally, we really, really do need to remember, and this might be one of the toughest things for us all to work on, we need to acknowledge the beauty within ourselves. Maybe that's where we should even start. Paul also said, there is one particular relationship on which all others are based. That relationship is the one that we have with self. So love yourself, love God, and love others. I had an idea that actually was suggested to me by Annalia. I think it's a very fine one. I think that maybe if we take a moment to take some of this that we've been digesting, let's try to think maybe of someone that we have a difficult relationship or that we've had a difficult relationship. And since we can't really, with COVID, even though that's easing up a little, we can't really hug a lot of people like we want to, maybe what we can do is just close our eyes for a minute and let's think about someone that we really need to look at differently, that we really need to see the beauty in. And let's just put a love embrace around them right now. Okay, so thank you for letting me have a little time with you. And I know we have more good things to follow. So thank you.